Hi there, fellow loom knitters. Have you ever gone back to admire all of your work only to realize that you made a mistake about 5 rows back? Yeah, me too. After about 15 years of knitting, I have come to realize that I have made more than a few mistakes. But quite frankly, that's where I do most of my learning. So the real trick to leveling up your loom knitting isn't about knitting perfectly. It's about learning how to fix those mistakes on the go without frogging your work. So without ripping it all back, let's turn those potential disasters into mere inconveniences. And we'll get back to knitting and relaxing and doing what you really truly enjoy, stress-free. So as loom knitters, we usually encounter the same mistakes. We'll either skip or miss a stitch, drop a stitch, or we'll knit the wrong stitch, meaning we'll knit instead of purl or purl instead of knit. That usually happens in ribbing, quite frankly. At least that's when it happens for me because I'm alternating back and forth. Now, those are the 3 or 4, depending on how you want to count those errors. Those are the ones we can fix without frogging. In fact, while making this video, I learned an easy way to fix a knit stitch. And of course, I'm going to share. Today, I've knit a swatch with each of these mistakes to illustrate how we can fix them as we go, without frogging. Because mistakes aren't disasters, they're just little detours that we can correct and keep moving forward. Just a tip, the best practice is to look back at your work quite frequently, because the sooner you discover a mistake, the easier it is to fix it. So let's take a look at the loom. The first mistake that we want to look at is the missed or the skipped stitch. This usually happens when we're E-wrapping, and as we're going around the pegs, we miss a peg and effectively put the yarn behind the peg instead of wrapping it around the peg. So let's take a look at how we can fix that. Looking at this first swatch of just E-wraps, you can place the yarn in the front of the peg, of the missed peg, and simply knit over it. That would be the easiest solution. Will it match the other E-wrap stitches? No. Will anyone notice that among the hundreds of other stitches you've done that this one doesn't match? No. However, if we're taking the time to knit something, we want to do our best. And as Maya Angelou would once say, when we know better, we do better. So, when fixing the E-wrap stitch, it's important to wrap the missed stitch in the same direction as the rest of the row. So to begin with, we're going to loosen the surrounding stitches a little bit, and we're going to start at the outer edges and gather in towards, work our way towards the missed peg. And that way the slack will be exactly where we need it to be. As we loosen the surrounding stitches, I'd like you to take note of the way the stitches are twisting. Because if you recall, with the E-wrap, when we go in one direction, they twist one way. When we go in the other direction, we wrap the peg in a different way, the opposite direction. So pay attention to which way we're going. And you'll notice when you're doing a hat, because you're doing it in the round, the whole thing just twists. So it's like a barbershop pole. And it twists that way. And that's why, because they're all going the same direction. So once we've created the missing stitch, knit over and knit on, stress-free. Next up is the dropped stitch. So this usually happens when we're going around, and as we knit over the peg, we take both the stitches with us. So now we've left the peg bare, it's empty. This is something we usually catch on the next pass, because obviously there should be a stitch from the last row and it's not there. So you go back and retrieve the previous row's stitch and put it back on the peg. No harm, no foul. That's great if you don't undo the stitch. If you undo the stitch without realizing it and continue along your merry way, it's not until several rows later that you realize, oh, wait a second, you really did drop a stitch, or you undid a stitch and now you've got to fix it. Wait, what's that? That would be the voice of experience talking. So now we're looking at a runaway loop. Secure the loop before it escapes any further. Secure it with a stitch marker or a cable needle, a bobby pin. Doesn't matter. Just make sure that it's not going to go down your work any further. And repair it as quickly as possible. For me, that's usually the end of the row. So once I finish the row, whatever I'm working on, then I go back and make that repair. The first thing we're going to have to do for that repair is to determine whether it is a knit stitch or a purl stitch. And that means we need to read our knitting. So let's take a look at the loom so that we can read our knitting. So here's a swatch of 4x4 ribbing, and the light links represent the purl stitches, whereas the dark links represent the knit stitches. On this right side of the fabric, you can see one stitch stands out among the knit stitches. That is because it is a purl stitch. I also did a knit stitch within the purl section next to it, but you can't tell. The knit stitch gets buried amongst the purls, which gives you a knitter's dilemma, and you can opt not to repair the knit stitch among the purl stitches. For this video, we're going to repair both, because it's better to know it and not need it than need it and not know it. And now, because that drop stitch is a few rows back, we're going to treat it the same way as if it were a wrong stitch. So wrong stitch. What do I mean by that? Well, if you knit instead of purl or purl instead of knit, it usually occurs during ribbing. So when you're doing a collar or a cuff, that's where ribbing usually takes place, or the hemline as well. And it's one of the reasons that I am so careful about setting up my loom before I even begin knitting. And I love the flexi looms with their light and dark pegs, because it's easier to manage knits and purls if you assign a peg color to a stitch. Love my flexi looms. As I mentioned before, even though you can't see the knit stitches within the purl section, I feel it's important to share the technique on how to repair those regardless. In fact, that was one of the ways that I learned something really valuable in this video. Gotta love it. So let's start with changing a knit into a purl. From the wrong side, identify where the issue is, so which peg that it's affected. We're going to remove only the stitches from the affected peg down to the error. Essentially, we're going to drop those stitches, creating a ladder. As we undo the correct stitches, take a note on how they are constructed as we pull them apart, because that's how we'll recreate them. So from this angle, since my work is directly in front of me, the post, or rung, is across the front of the loop, and that loop goes upwards. Compared to the wrong stitch, where the loop goes downwards through the back. Take your crochet hook and from the bottom of the project, insert the crochet hook through the loop towards the loom and capture that first rung on the ladder. Then pull it through the loop. When you give it a tug towards yourself, you'll see that it matches all the other stitches, and you'll know that you've done it correctly. Now be careful, because you have to actually grab the rungs or the posts in the same order that they were undone, because you don't want to twist any of those stitches and mix up your rows. So now we're going to work all the way back up towards the loom without really stretching the yarn, and that way our tension remains on track as well. Replacing the purl stitch with a knit stitch is the same thing, only now we're going to be working on the right side of the fabric. Now traditionally, this was done differently, and it was worked on the wrong side of the fabric. So now I found when I did it that way, it was more complicated. I twisted my stitches so frequently, and trying to undo and redo, my tension got all thrown out of whack. So let's do it the easy way, shall we? We're going to do it from the right side of the fabric, where the trickiest part of the whole thing is putting that final loop back on the peg. And there's a little trick to it too, so I'm going to show you that as well. So now we're going to switch the purl stitch into a knit stitch on the right side of the fabric. So the first thing we do is identify where the issue is. We're going to remove only the stitches from the affected peg down to the error. Essentially, we're going to drop those stitches, creating a ladder. As we undo the correct stitches, once again, take note of how they're constructed. As we pull them apart, that's how we're going to recreate them. From the bottom of the project, insert the crochet hook and pull the first rung on the ladder through the loop on the hook. Flip it up to make sure that it matches all the other stitches. We are now going to work our way back up towards the loom. When we get to the final stitch, stretch it out just a little bit and push it down. Keep your finger on it and pressed against the peg. So gently flip over the loom, and with the loom hook, tease the stitch open without twisting it and place it on the peg. As you can see, this is way easier to maneuver from the right side of the fabric, because the trickiest part is flipping it back over to get the final stitch, the one stitch, not all of them, just one, back on the loom. And of course, by placing your finger not only on the stitch, but on the empty peg as well, as you maneuver it, as you flip it back, Bob's your uncle, and it's all good. So today we learned several different ways to fix our stitches without frogging. And the bottom line is that we fix the purl stitch on the wrong side of the fabric, and we fix the knit stitch on the right side of the fabric. Same easy motion. And just keep in mind, mistakes aren't failures. They're opportunities to learn, practice, and level up our loom knitting. And another piece of trivia while I'm thinking of it, because it's kind of related, that tink, if you ever hear the word tink, that is knit spelled backwards. And that's basically when you're on the same row and you unknit your stitches. So you knit backwards. Tink. Now there are plenty of other mistakes that we can make. The one I most frequently encounter with new knitters is when they're e-wrapping, they will accidentally switch directions. So when they look at their knitting and they'll look at me and go, yeah, what did I do? And I'm looking and I'm seeing all the stitches are the same, but the whole thing just looks a little off. So you're kind of going, what happened? Well, what happened was they put their knitting down and mid-row, and when they picked it up again, they went in the other direction. So instead of all your stitches lining up and slanting in the same direction, they're now wonky. And unfortunately, that one, because you've redone each and every stitch, that needs to be frogged. Sorry. If you do encounter that, put in a lifeline, and that way when you rip back your wrong direction stitches, you can actually rip back to a certain point and then continue in the right direction. So there's a tip. Better than nothing. And of course, you can change your mindset too. Instead of looking at this as an error or a mistake, you can actually create a design feature. So make it look intentional by switching directions mid-row intentionally, and then you can actually have a pattern, create a pattern, and now it looks like it's all part of your master plan. And just another tip, that if you're doing a complicated lace pattern, before you get into the rhythm of it, I would suggest that you insert a lifeline using a yarn needle after each repeat. And that way, if and when you do make an error, you're only ripping back to the most recent repeat, and you're not ripping back a whole bunch of your work, because complicated lace is, well, complicated. You don't want to undo any more than you have to. So by inserting lifelines at the very beginning of the pattern, then you cut down on your frogging. Sometimes we'll encounter ladders in our work, often in the round, and they will be at the beginning or the end of the round. And thankfully, that's not actually a mistake. That is a tension issue. So by adjusting the stitches on either side, you can adjust the tension. Thankfully, this is something that if you don't notice it until the end of your piece, you can actually do it after you've cast off. It's not going to be as pretty or as effective as if everything's still on the loom, but it can be done. So it's not a mistake, it's just an adjustment. To keep learning with me, subscribe to Stitches by Stacey, and together we'll make loom knitting stress-free and fun. So until next time, I'm Stacey from Stitches by Stacey. Thanks for watching. And if you found this video helpful, by all means take a look at this next one. I know you'll like this one too.